Hi, welcome back to Swift Sense. I'm Debbie, and today I have a special comparison video for you. I received 6 different samples from Fragrenza, and they sent them to me to do reviews on. I'm going to give 100% my honest opinion in regards to these fragrances, and I'm going to be comparing them to the originals that they're supposed to be clones of. So we've already sprayed some strips here so I can give you the dry down, and I'm going to give you the openings as well. So the first one that we have is the Fragrenza version of Aventus, and this is called the Immortal Zeus. So I'm going to spray here so I can get the opening, and we'll compare that to the opening of Creed Aventus. Actually, let me get a pen. I can mark the strips that way I don't get them mixed up. Alright, compared to the Aventus, there's a lot of different clone houses out there, and some are really good, some not so much. Okay, so this is the clone, and this is the original Aventus. So to me, the opening of the Immortal Zeus is a little bit more kind of lemony than the actual Aventus. So let me check the dry down. So this is the dry down of the Immortal Zeus, and this is the dry down of Creed. So to me, the Immortal Zeus is getting more lemony, and the Aventus has more of a grassy note to me. So in my opinion, they are similar, but someone that knows Aventus would be able to pick out the distinction between the two. In my opinion, I think that that is a noticeable difference. It is a nice fragrance. It's an inexpensive alternative to Aventus, but again, to me, they're not identical. Very similar, very close, but it just doesn't hit the mark. The next one that they sent me a sample of, this is called Wild Palermo, and this is supposed to be a clone of Xerjoff's More Than Words. So let me go ahead, get the opening of that. And we'll get the opening of Xerjoff's More Than Words. Wow, okay, so to me right now, this is very similar. Palermo, Xerjoff. Okay, so to me, the opening of the Fragrenza version of More Than Words, which is Wild Palermo, is almost spot on with Xerjoff. More Than Words. Okay. And let me get the dry downs of that. So this is Wild Palermo by Fragrenza, and this is Xerjoff's More Than Words. I gotta say, for that fragrance, it's almost dead on. A slight, small difference, but very similar. So for the More Than Words by Xerjoff, the Fragrenza version, which is Wild Palermo, it's a pretty good match. I think they hit that one almost dead on. Okay, then the next one, and I only have a decan of this that we got from someone. This is Tom Ford's Lost Cherry, and the Fragrenza version of that is Marina Cherry. So I'll give that a test. Tom Ford. I want to say this decant came from Michael Dinsmore. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. Wow, very cherry in the opening. It smells like you just opened a bottle of those little maraschino cherries that you put on your ice cream. All right, and let's test the Marina Cherry by Fragrenza. See how close that is on the opening. Okay, so there is in the wild Amarina cherry, there is a definite cherry hint there, but it isn't anywhere as near as robust as the Tom Ford version. So I'm going to say that it's similar, but not close. And let me go ahead and get the dry down of those. So this is Tom Ford's Lost Cherry, and this is Fragrenza Marina Cherry. Still get a little cherry note in the Tom Ford, but it's getting to be tobacco-y to me. And the Fragrenza version is actually getting more cherry. But I'm going to say the Tom Ford version, Lost Cherry, is more tobacco-y. The Marina Cherry is getting just more cherry. I'm not picking up on any of that tobacco-iness from the Tom Ford version. So I'm going to say they're not that similar at all. I mean, it might be a good alternative, but like I say, somebody that knows the Tom Ford fragrance is going to know that's not legit. All right, the next one of my newfound favorites. This is going to be Delina from Perfumes de Marly. And the Fragrenza version of that is Adeline. So let's test the openings of that. This is the Fragrenza version, Adeline. That is really nice. You can definitely pick up on the rose in that. And let's get the Parfums de Marly. Again, this bottle was given to me courtesy of Alan at Beverly Hills Perfumery at the Scent Explorer. This was his tester bottle, and there's just really barely enough in here for me to do this, so definitely picking up on that rose. So let's see how similar these two are on the opening. This is the Fragrenza Adeline and the Parfums de Marly. These are pretty much almost dead on, guys. Very rose. So on the opening, the Fragrenza is almost dead on to the one it's supposed to be representing, which is Parfums de Marly Delina. Let me check the dry down. The Fragrenza fragrances are about $60 for, what is that? $60 for 60 ml. Alright, so Adeline, this is the dry down. This is the dry down for Delina. Pretty close. I mean, there is a slight difference, but it's almost indistinguishable. So I'm going to say for $60 for the Fragrenza version of the Delina, which runs to something. That'd be a good, good savings. I think that one's pretty close in my opinion. Then the next one that we have is, this is Udensity, and there we go. This is, now I only have a sample of this other one. This is actually, Udensity is the Fragrenza version of Inicio's Oud to Greatness. So let me go ahead and do an opening on that. First I thought I lost my sample. Yeah, you can definitely pick up the oud in that. And then this is the Inicio version. This is Oud to Greatness. I actually got these samples also from Beverly Hills Perfumery. I think those are pretty similar. No, actually it is oudy, but it's a different type, I think. The Oud to Greatness to me has more of a smoky sense to it. Whereas the Fragrenza version to me smells more cedary. So I'm going to say on the opening, they're not the same. And let me check the dry down. So this is Udensity. This is Oud to Greatness. Okay, so on the dry down, to me, they are very similar. So if you get past that first, several minutes of the opening, the dry down to both of those it's almost spot on. So the Oud to Greatness, the opening, it's different, but the dry down, it's almost spot on. So I think that's a pretty good substitute. Once you get past that opening, they are very similar. And then the last one they sent me was Caramel Rose. Let's get in the camera. And this is a reproduction or a clone of Baccarat Rouge 540. So first, let's get this. To me, it's a very clean smell, the Baccarat. And let's compare that to Caramel Rouge. And they do have, these are just 6 samples that they sent me, just random. They do have lots of other variations of other fragrances. This just happens to be the ones that they sent. So this is the Fragrenza, this is the Baccarat. To me, on the opening, it's almost spot on. So that's very similar. And let me check the dry down. This is Baccarat, and this is Caramel Rose, R-O-S-S-E. Very similar. Okay, so the only thing is the Baccarat projects more. It's a little bit stronger. The Fragrenza, it's similar, but it's not as noticeable. It's not as pronounced. But I think that's pretty close. So for $60 versus, whatever the Baccarat is, it's definitely a savings. So out of the 6 samples they sent me, the More Than Words, the Delina, and the Baccarat, and the Oud to Greatness were very close. The Aventus, not so much. and the Tom Ford's Lost Cherry, those were not very similar either. So 4 of the 6 samples were pretty good matches in my opinion, from this little sniffer here. Go ahead and put your comments below. Let me know if you've had experience with some of these. Again, these are 100% my own opinions. I was not paid in any way. They just sent me samples to test and to review. So there you have it. Put your comments below. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Let your friends know. Hit that notification bell, because I do have some other videos coming up that you're going to want to be aware of. And I'll see you next time on Swift Sense.